Our beautiful quilt blocks are done. That means it's time to do the inner borders. Hey everyone, Cristin here, and we are continuing with our red, white, and bloom quilt. So we finished all of the blocks, sections 1 through section 7, all done. So now that means it's time to do our inner borders. So it actually will be a very easy day today. A few hoopings, of course, but pretty easy. So we are going to work on our inner borders, and they are on page 35 of our booklet. Inner borders. So it is the red and white striped. I have not cut mine yet, and I also have not cut my batting yet, so I will be doing that. So for our fabric, it's this red and white striped. It is a directional fabric, so we'll need to pay attention while we're cutting, and I'll go over the instructions more when I get mine cut. But we are going to start by measuring your quilt. It's very important to measure your quilt first. Your quilt may be off a little bit from mine. It all depends on how the blocks go together, stabilizing versus not stabilizing, or just whatever, right? So measure your quilt. Mine came out at 30 by 30. So I want 30 inches of quilting for my 1-inch border. We are going to use the quilting design Border Insect 1. Border Insect 1. That is our quilting design for this. And it's dragonflies, if I recall, dragonflies. So that will be fun. So I'm going to bring you over to the computer and see what we can merge together. Since we need at least 30 inches of quilting, it can be longer because it'll just run off onto the stabilizer. It's not going to matter. But and some people don't mind having the edges without quilting, and that's total personal preference. So the longest one is a 14-inch. If I recall, there's a 7-inch, a 10-inch, a 12-inch, and a 14-inch. So 14 inches, if you did 2 hoopings, you would have 28 inches of quilting, and I want 30. So I know that I'm going to do 3 hoopings, at least 3 hoopings. Of course, it depends on how many you merge together in one hooping. I'm going to try and get all 4 strips into one hooping, and I'm going to go for, like I said, 30 inches of quilting. So that will be 3 hoopings. So I'm going to bring you over to the computer to see what will work as far as size, but just know that if you want to do just 2 hoopings, then you'll get 28 inches of quilting, depending on your hoop size, of course. So like I said, 1 by 7, 1 by 10, 1 by 12, and 1 by 14 are the quilting sizes. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. By the way, I am going to add my batting directly onto my border strips like I always do. So for your batting, you want that to be exact. So it will be, if we want 30 inches of quilting, we're going to want 29.5 inches of batting. And you can obviously do that in strips that are cut up and then, add more until you have a total of 29.5. You don't want more than 29.5. All right, because then you'll get batting in your seam. So make sure to measure it as you go, as you're pushing down that long bit of batting onto your fabric strips. It will tend to grow a little bit. So you want to make sure to measure it again and make sure you're not getting more than 29.5 inches of batting. So that would be 1 inches by 29.5 for your batting. All right, so let's go ahead and go over to the computer and see what we can merge together. Hey everyone, so this should be a very quick tutorial. I am going to just show you how to merge the inner borders together if you choose into one hooping, and I'll show you the sizes of the different options. So I'm going to go to Embellishment Essentials. That's the software that I use, and I'm going to go to File, New Page. All right, and I am currently on my 6 by 10 hoop. You can see that down here. I'm going to go to this Preferences folder, and I'm going to click on 9 by 14. The longest design for the inner borders is 14 inches, so it should fit in our 9 by 14 hoop, but let's just check. All right, so I've got my 9 by 14 hoop. You can always see that right down here at the bottom, and then I'm going to click on this compass button and click on H so that it zooms just into the hoop. All right, and then we are going to open up a quilting design. If you go to merge stitch file and then find where you have the quilting design, I actually had to re-download it from the Kimberbell website since my hard drive has failed and I don't have access to my files. So thankfully, Kimberbell makes it so that we can re-download them if we need to. All right, so Border Insect 1 is the one that we are looking for. Embroidery files, block by block is the technique we are using, and I use Pez for my machine. So I'm going to just open up each of these and show you the sizes so that you can determine what will work best for you. So this 1 by 10, if I double click on that, it goes to the center, and it says here that it's 9 7/16, so it's a little bit under 9.5. All right, and I'll just move this over to the side here. That's the 1 by 10. You can see the name right here, 1 by 10, and it's a little under 9.5 inches. All right, so then the next one, merge stitch file, back to Pez, 1 by 12 is the next one, and that one is 11 3/4. Why does it say 5? Let's see, click on just that one. So 1.5 by 11 3/4. That is the 1 by 12 design. All right. So you could do 3 of those and you'd have like 33 inches of quilting. That actually might be faster than what I was thinking. So I might do that. That's the 1 by 12. So if I click on merge stitch file to check the others, there is a 1 by, we did 1 by 10. There's the 1 by 12. Here's the 1 by 14. This is the one I was thinking of, and it does fit in the hoop. So that's nice. So this is 1.5 by exactly 14, and our hoop is 14. My brother hoop, I should say, is 14 3/16. So it does fit in my 9 by 14 hoop. That's nice. All right, so that one is 14 inches. And then for those with a 5 by 7 hoop, or if you want just a little of extra quilting, which is what I was thinking, I'm going to open up the 1 by 7 to see what size that is. And it goes to the center, so I'm just going to move it out of the way. All right, so that one is exactly 1.5 by 7. So what I was initially thinking is I would do 2 hoopings of this 1 by 14 and then 1 hooping of the 1 by 7, but that would give me a lot. That would give me like 5 inches extra of quilting that I'm just sitting there waiting to stitch out, and it would go onto my stabilizer. That would absolutely work, not a problem. But this 1 by 12, this one is too short. Let me think here. If we did 9, yeah, it's too short. That wouldn't give us 30 inches if we did 3 hoopings of that. Since we need 3 hoopings anyway, if you want the full 30 inches, you could do the 1 by 14 twice and then a 1 by 7. That would absolutely work. That would give you 28 plus 7, so 35 inches of quilting. Or if you did the 1 by 12, click on the 1 by 12, that is a little less than 12 inches, so 11.75. And if you did that 3 times, that would be 35.25. So the same. So whether you did 3 of this one or 2 of the longer, the 1 by 14, and then the little 7, that actually, I'm probably leaning toward that now. So one thing is that we want 2 of them to be 30 inches, but actually the other 2, the longer 2, we're going to sew the first 2 on, and then we'll measure again, measure the quilt again, and get that final size, which should be 32. It should be 32 inches. So on the other 2. So we want 2 of them that are going to be 30 and 2 of them that are going to be 32. So if I do both at 35, all 4 actually at 35, that will work. So remember, as long as we have the batting on our fabric, it doesn't matter. It's not going to get batting in our seams because we're going to cut it to the right size. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the 1 by 14 for 2 hoopings and then 1 last hooping of the 7-inch. That will work well. So that's what I'm going to do. So let me show you real quick how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and just delete these others. Actually, I'm going to need that 7, but I'm going to need it in a separate hooping. So I'm going to do that separately. So here I've got the 1 by 14. Now, remember, since we've got our batting on there, I'm just going to bring this all the way over to the side there. We have plenty of room though. So here is the placement of our batting and our tack down of our batting, and we don't need either of those because we are going to have our batting already attached onto our fabric if you're doing it the same way that I do the borders. So you can highlight both 1 and 2. I clicked from the right over and then over to the left for the 1 and 2, number 1, 1 and 1, 2. You can just delete those. You don't need that. It's totally up to you. I'm going to keep it. You know, I like to keep it just to remind everybody to bypass it. But look at, we've got orange and we have light orange. So the only color I'll need to change, and you won't need to change a color if you're deleting them, but this first one, I would need to delete or change the color of this first one. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that and click on dark aqua and say, okay. All right, real simple. All these others are different colors, so I don't need to worry about those joining. All right, so now that that's changed, I can go ahead and make 4 more of these. So I'm going to say Control C. I'm clicking on all 5 parts of the design, and for you it could be 3 parts. So Control C to copy, and then Control V like victory to paste it. And it goes right on top of the first one, so you can't even see it. I'm going to go ahead and just use my arrow button here and move it over. All right, and then I'm going to do that again, Control V like victory, and I'm going to just move it over again. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we'll do that align and distribute that we like to do because Embrilliance has that option. All right, that's the third one, Control V again for the last one. And this one I'm just going to make sure to bring all the way over to the right-hand side here, but making sure it does not go over the hoop. All right, so then we have all 4 of these. They are already all the color changed in a way that they will group, but we don't want to group it yet. We want to make sure to do that align and distribute, or you can just move them around how you want them. But an easy way is to use that align and distribute option. So I'm going to go ahead and close these tabs here, and I'm going to click down from the bottom and select up so that I have all 4 selected, and I'm going to go to Utility, Align and Distribute, and they're already aligned. You could definitely do that as well, but for mine, I think I just need Distribute. Maybe I'll align them as well. Why not, right? So I think we do just the center, if I recall. I don't think we do center because then it's going to move. Let's just try it. I have to, there. Okay, that was easy. Did you see it move just a little bit? So you just press that center button on the left over here, not up here. All right, and apply, close. Now I'm going to go to the distribute tab. So you can see that there's a lot of space here, a little bit of space here, a lot of space here. So we want these to just distribute amongst throughout the whole hoop here. So I'm going to hit center, is that right? Let me think. I think so. I'm going to say apply. Yep. All right, so that moved him over so that there's the right amount of space in between each one. So that's perfect. I'm going to say close. So once that's done, make sure you do that before your color sort, because once you do a color sort, instead of these 4 designs, it becomes 1 design, and then you won't be able to move them. So make sure to do that first if you're going to align and distribute. All right, so now we're going to go to Utility Color Sort. We currently have 20 color steps. You can see right here in the bottom right-hand corner. So I'm going to go to Utility Color Sort, and notice that I don't have these buttons selected, and my tolerance level is at 0 on this Embrilliance Essentials. Okay, so make sure to have these same settings if you want the same results that I'm getting. So it says it's reduced the design page by 15 color changes. So I'm going to click New View, and your tabs are probably different. I have my label tab open that I made for Oh So Delightful, and that's why I'm on further tabs here. Okay, so this Untitled 4, for me it's Untitled 4, for you it's probably Untitled 1, is the 4 designs. Untitled 5 for me, and probably Untitled 2 for you, it brings it all into 1 design. So I'm just going to click and make sure it did what I think it should do. So there we have the placement for the batting, and again, this is something you don't need, so you may have already deleted that. And then the second step is the tack down of the batting. Again, you don't need that one either. We won't need 1 and 2. And then the third step for you, it should be the first step, will be the placement of the strips, the fabric strips, our border strips will be 1, 3. For you, it's probably 1, 4. And then our next one is the tack down of the strips. And the last one is the quilting design. So that worked out perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and do a file, save stitch file as. And I am going to put it in my red, white, and bloom folder. I'm going to put it in the quilting. And back into, this was border, where are we? Right there, border insect 1 is where I'm going to save mine. Embroidery files, block by block, Pez, and I'm going to name this 1 by 12, no, 14, sorry, 1 by 14 quad, just so that I remember that there's 4 of them, and that will work fine. Save. All right, and then I need to do that same process for the 1 by 7. For that third hooping, I'll use the 1 by 7 instead of the 1 by 14. So I'm going to go to File, New Page, and I'm going to run through this very quickly. I'm going to click on Merge Stitch File, and I'm going to bring in that border insect 1, and I want the 1 by 7 file this time, right there. All right, and it goes to the center. Actually, I need to change my hoop size. I'm currently on my 9 by 14 hoop. And let's see, what will I be able to fit? Because I do want all 4 in there, so I need it to be at least 5 inches. I might be able to do it in a, let's try a 5 by 7. Preferences folder, let's see if it fits in a 5 by 7 to get all 4 of these. Say okay, and notice that my file is outside of the hoop. I'm going to move that over, and I'm going to click on the H button under the compass so that it zooms in, and it is 7 inches. It's very close. Look at, so the brother 5 by 7 hoop is 7 1/16, and the design is 7 inches exactly. So it's going to be very tight. Plus I want 4 of them. So I'm just going to see if it'll work. It may be too tight. It looks like it's going to be too tight. Yeah, you know what, it will be, because 1.5 times 4 is going to be way too tight. Not possible. So I'm going to change to my 8 by 8 hoop so that I have a wider amount of room. Through the preferences folder, I clicked on my 8 by 8 hoop, and then I can move it over, and I'm going to click on that compass H again. All right, so once I have this, I need to change that one color. Don't forget, you can delete 1 and 2. I'm going to click on the color and go to dark aqua, and then the rest of the colors are fine. So I'm going to click on the design. It makes sure that I have all 5 parts. For you, it may be 3 parts because you can delete 1 and 2. I'm going to say Control C to copy and Control V like victory to paste it, and I'm going to move it over here just haphazardly. I'm going to bring it over just so we can utilize that fun align and distribute. All right, so and then Control V like victory for a third one, and Control V like victory for the 4th. And that one I'm going to bring all the way over to the right, so I can use all of the hoop. All right, there's our 4 designs. I'm going to go to, let's see, I need to close these so I can tell it what I want to align and distribute. I'm going to click down from the bottom and drag up so that they're all selected, and I'm going to go to Utility, Align and Distribute, and I'm going to say Center, Center, if I recall. Nope. Let's see, that's funny. I just told you a second ago and I already forgot. So I'm going to go to this Undo button up here. Undo, there we go. All right, and then I'm going to click on all 4 again. Make sure it didn't take away our, I still have my dark aqua, good. All right. Click on all 4, Utility, Color Sort, and it was just the, no, gee whiz, sorry about that. Cancel, undo. Okay, sorry, going too fast. All right, so we're on Untitled 6 for me, all 4 designs, and I'm just trying to do that Align and Distribute. I clicked Color Sort by mistake. So I do need to highlight them all. Utility, Align and Distribute right there. And it's just this center button, if I recall. Let's try that. Yep, that worked. So you saw them move. That worked perfectly. And then I want to go to Distribute just to make sure that I've got the right amount, because you can see this has just a little bit of space and this has a whole bunch. So it will move all of those. And I am going to do center, center on that if I recall. No. Oh my goodness. Close, undo. There we go. That's funny. I am messing up tonight. Sorry about that. Align and distribute. Right there. Distribute. And I thought it was center. Oh, it did. So I must have clicked something before that was incorrect and I didn't even realize. So center, I'm on the distribute tab. Maybe I was still on the align tab. I'm not sure what I did. But anyway, center, and that worked. You can see it moved them all so that we've got the right amount of space in between each of those. So I'm going to say close. And now we can do that color sort because right now we have 20 color steps. So utility, color sort. And don't forget all of these settings right here, and it's reduced it by 15. New view, and real quick, placement, tack down, and quilting design. Perfect. So I'm going to go to File, Save Stitch File As, and I am going to say 1x7 quad. All right, and it's saved in that Border Insect 1 design. You can type that out as well if you're not sure. And I'm just going to say save. And that's done. If your machine is on, you can send it to your machine or you can send it to a USB stick. Either way will work fine. And I have several videos showing how to transfer it to a USB stick. So you should be all good to go. So let's get stitching. And don't forget to tell me how you're doing with your goal. I really like hearing about it. So my goal is strength. I'm working on strength. And I actually did a bike ride this morning with my husband. That's why my hair's all flat. So we did I actually rode to a meeting, and then I came back and called him and said, hey, I want to go for a bike ride. So we went and climbed a few hills. He rode on his e-bike, and I got mad at him because he went flying up by me on the hill, and he's got an e-bike, and I'm sitting there huffing and puffing and working so hard at it. But it was a really good bike ride, very nice for a weekday morning to be able to do that. So how are you doing with your goal? And my shirt today, this is an old one. I think I made it about 5 years ago. It says Home Sweet Home, and it's got a very light outline of Idaho. I don't know if you can see that, but I don't recall who it's from. I want to say Itch to Stitch for some reason, but I could totally be making that up. Like I said, it's 5 years old. If I have the information, I will add it underneath this video. But don't forget, I don't have access to my files right now because my hard drive, I'm going to do that tomorrow. I keep putting it off. There's so much going on, but I will let you know if I find out where I got the design, because there are other states available as well. So it's a fun design if I'm able to tell you where you can get it.